You're watching Tackle Talk Live, now into our 6th season as your #1 resource for bass tournament information, with a primary focus on both Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Your hosts, Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff and Territory Manager for Sportco Marketing, Kevin Jean. Two guys with years of successful tournament experience on all levels. Guys who understand the importance of good information. Anglers willing to share their knowledge to help you become a better angler. So pay close attention as these guys give you more insight on how, when, and where to catch winning stringers. Here are your hosts of Tackle Talk Live, Steve Graff and Kevin Jean.
Hello, everybody. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in today. I'm Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff, along with Territory Manager for Sportco Marketing, Brother Kevin Jean, down there in Lafayette, Louisiana. And Kevin, today we got a pretty good show lined up for everybody. Going to have some good information. You got the Shimano tire. We're going to wrap that one up. We're going to wrap up Battle of the Brands. Toyota Series had a really good tournament on Sam Rayburn. We'll talk about one thing, though, that guys are starting to get a little concerned. I saw Tommy Martin made a post on Facebook about the low numbers, and he really feels like that our tournament days are really in trouble nationwide. And I don't know what me and you can kind of talk about that and see each other's opinion on it. But hey, it's a sign of the time. Times are changing right now, aren't they?
No, they are, Steve. I mean, when you don't hit 100 boats in a Toyota event on Sam Rayburn, something's wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Steve, you turn around and look at the Shimano, who had 271. You know, so I don't know. Times are changing. Fishing is changing. The sport overall is kind of in a lull right now. As far as, you know, everything that's going on, but wow, Steve, did Sam Rayburn show out this past weekend? I mean,
yeah,
3 days, it took 82 pounds. Mr. Riley Harris won the event with 82 pounds. We're gonna get him on the show, let him kind of break it down for us. I mean, his daily, so he weighed in 25:14, 26:03, and then 30:09 on day 3. Steve, that's
yeah.
3 days in a row to have over 25 pounds. That is impressive.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll be honest with you, Kevin, this year, I don't know if it's the weather, it's just the timing, the lakes. Some of the tournaments we have cut, is it forward facing sonar? I don't know. It's just some of the weights that are being brought in this year have absolutely been ridiculous, from Lake of the Pines to Caddo to Toledo Bend to Rayburn. It's just like the whole country's just been on fire. I mean, even some of the elite stuff that's been going on, there's no shortage on catching bass right now. And I mean, all these guys are really, really whacking them. But where the shortage is on the anglers.
Yeah.
Where are they? Why aren't they fishing? Is it the economy? You know, of course, now we got Trump in office. Everybody was all excited, and they still think it'll turn around. But is that really the problem, or is it forward-facing sonar? When you look at Despino, Randy and them eliminated forward-facing sonar. Their numbers are still out the roof. Now, granted, we're talking about a really, really good benefit tournament that a lot of people that aren't even regular tournament guys. A lot of people fish that, don't they?
No, they do. That and the Poche that's coming up in a couple of weeks, right there on Toledo Bend as well. It'll draw, 250 plus. Same thing. It's people that don't fish all year long. They come out and support this. It's the tournament circuit, Steve, that's what's in trouble right now. Toyota Series and your circuits that's what's struggling right now. And somebody needs to find the answer to it. Is it forward facing sonar? I don't know. Is it? Know either. We can go down the full list of things, but no, it is. It's the tournament industry is not in a good place.
No, and somebody brought up on Facebook or one of those social media sites that, well, they think it's the travel. I ain't buying that one either, because a lot of these tournaments, like the ABA Solo 150, it's in the heart of East Texas, and if you drew a circle, probably 200-mile radius of, say, Lufkin, all those tournaments are in that radius. And I'm like, what? That I don't think it's travel. I just think it's number one. There's too many circuits.
There's too many. That's where I was going with it.
Problem.
Yes, there's too many circuits. There's too many things going on.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with it as well. So
Yeah, it really does. All right, today we got a special guest. So we're going to have Riley Harris, who is the winner of the Toyota Series on Sam Rayburn. Looking forward to we had him on before. He does a great job, Kevin, of breaking it down. And looking forward to having Riley on, see what he's got to say about his recent win on Sam Rayburn. And also, I'm doing something a little different for this week. What to throw in March. I've got 5 baits I'm gonna reveal today that I really like to throw. It's baits that I think will get you a lot of bites during the month of March. And Kevin's got a Shimano product preview. We'll see what Kevin's got lined up. Anyway, we got all this and more today right here on Tackle Talk Live. We're going to take a quick break, recognize a few of our awesome sponsors. When we return, we'll visit with Riley Harris, Toyota Series winner from this past week over at Sam Rayburn. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
A good marine dealer is hard to find, but a great dealer is even harder. But in Iowa, Louisiana, there's a marine dealer that falls into the great category. Power Implements Marine, South Louisiana's go-to dealer for all things related to the boating industry. A Minn Kota, Garmin, and Mercury dealer, guaranteeing you first-rate service in both sales and repair. A great selection of new and used boats to choose from, including Skeeter, G3, Ranger, Camus, and Go Devil. A knowledgeable staff that will treat you like family and are always willing to go the extra mile to ensure you walk out a happy customer. To see everything they have to offer, go to powerimplements.com or stop by 606 East Miller Street in Iowa, Louisiana. Plus, mention Tackle Talk Live and save $500 off a new or pre-owned boat or $50 off your first service ticket. Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Nothing is worse than being sick on your family or fishing getaway. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in the hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or call 318-508-5323. Very few stores are a complete one-stop shop, but Cypress Knee Outdoors is such a place. A store within a store. Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, drinks, or bait and tackle, they have it. Cypress Knee Outdoors carries top-name fishing brands like Strike King, Sandtone, Spro, and V&M. Crappie jigs from Bobby Garland. Need hunting gear? They have it. Ammunition from rifle to shotgun shells. Deer scents from Buck Wild and Doe and Heat. Deer stands from Titan and feeders from T-Hanger. Cypress Knee has it all. Located off I-49, exit 127, just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana. So stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors and let John Abram and his staff show you everything they have to offer. Or give them a call at 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
This is Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in. And by the way, spread the word. Let everybody know who we are, what we do, try to do for you, our viewers, and try to give you valuable information. Main focus, Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn. That's what we like to talk about. And we will branch out to Lake Fork once in a while, Lake of the Pines, maybe drift up to Caddo Lake if something really big is going on. But anyway, let people know who we are and what we're all about. This segment is presented by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, just south of Natchitoches here, Toledo Bend Bass Series, probably the hottest series on Toledo Bend right now, Shimano, and Power Implements Marine, located right there in Iowa, Louisiana. Kevin, if you say, I watch Tackle Talk Live, what happens?
You get $500 off, Steve, of your purchase of any new or used boat, and $50 off your service ticket. All you got to do is let them know that the guys at Tackle Talk Live sent them to Power Implements Marine. They'll get you taken care of.
There you go. Riley Harris, the winner of the Toyota Series this past weekend on Lake Sam Rayburn, is on the phone with us. And Riley, man, thank you for coming on with us. And I guess the first question is practice. Let's start off with that. And basically, how is Rayburn fishing right now?
Oh man, well I appreciate y'all having me on. I mean, it's fishing pretty good. I think it's going to keep getting better and better throughout the week. I know, I think it's supposed to blow or something this weekend, I think I read, but I mean, I expect the fish to really be pushing in with this weather.
Yeah.
Riley, man, you had 25-14 on day 1, 26-03 on day 2, 30-09 on day 3, dude. That was freaking incredible. That's tournaments people dream of right there, 3-day waits. Going into the event, is this something that you thought you could do? I mean, did you have that good of a practice?
Man, so honestly, I didn't even really get to practice hardly at all. My practice was pretty much bass champs. Luke and I fished champs, and we did all right in it. We had 20 for ninth. And I started seeing some things that I saw last year that I was really liking a lot. And going into it, I was like, man, I hope they do what I'm anticipating them doing. But tried to stay and fish Sunday, and I ended up blowing my lower unit. And I was pretty much off the water till Wednesday. I was able to get back out on the water Wednesday and start looking around when it was blowing really hard. I mean, I just had to stay in protected areas, but I mean, that was pretty much my practice.
Dang.
Now, getting into tournament day, day 1, Kevin and I, we all fished Rayburn a lot, as well as you, Riley, obviously. Early bite. The Rayburn is known as that first hour and a half. Man, if you pull up on the right spot on an early bite on Sam Rayburn, you can do some damage. Was that the case for y'all? Did you catch them early, or was this an all-day deal?
No, sir. Starting out on day 1, it was pretty cold that morning. I think it was like 33 or 34 on my dash, and I was like, all right, it's a little colder than I thought it was going to be. So I decided to start out offshore in some areas that, maybe there might still be some fish that are pushing in through those transition areas. And I started out there and ran a few spots, and man, I think I only had like 1 or 2 for 4 or 5 pounds, and I was like, well, they're not here, that's for sure. So I think around 10:30, I completely scratched that and started running the little patterns and drains that we were running in champs, and I was able to get up to almost 26 pretty quick.
Okay, so this was one of the things where you ran with the pattern, and you just kind of caught one here and there, or did you catch multiple in one area?
I caught multiple in one area. I mean, honestly, I stayed in 3 drains the whole tournament. I've had a lot of history in those drains, and I knew, I was like, man, they're gonna keep coming. They did this last year. It's just the time of year for them to be coming through those drains into those spawning areas. And I was just sitting there waiting for them. I'd go back and forth, and I think my first big one I caught an 8 at like 10:30 or something. I was like, okay, yep, that's what they're doing. Got a okay bag, ran to another drain. Caught one that was a little under 7, and I went to my other drain and culled a few times and ended up catching one that was 5.5, 6, and that's what got me to my day 1 weight.
Yeah.
Are these fish, Riley, were they setting up in the bottom of the drain? I mean, how deep of water are we talking on these drains? We talking 8 to 10 foot, 3 to 4 foot?
So it just depended mostly on the drain. I would be anywhere from 5 to 15 mostly. That's where I caught all my fish, was 5 to 15. But they were kind of set up all over the water column. There was a few times that I caught some that were, a foot under the surface, and there was a couple that were glued to the bottom. I just knew that I had to take my time and milk those areas, and they were just going to keep coming.
Riley, is this something that you was able to go back and run those same drains on day 2, day 3, or did you have to change it up?
So I'll get to day 3 here in a second, and I'll explain the 11 that I caught. So on day 2, I ran to those drains that I caught them at the second half of the first day, and I got to 26 really quick. And I was like, all right, definitely gonna make day 3. So I started running some new areas, trying to find some new stuff just in case, because I knew it was supposed to blow into my stuff on the final day. And I kind of just wanted to look around and see if I could practice and find anything else that I felt confident in, and that really didn't work out. So then I kind of just ran back to my other drains. I was like, well, let's see if I can, just get a couple more bites. And the first thing that morning, I'd lost one that was over 10. And so that was a real bummer. And then I think the last hour, pulled up into my other drain. I was like, all right, not really going to cast it anything unless I know it's really big. I saw one out there, cast it to her. She came up and smashed it, and my line broke instantly when I set the hook on her. And I was like, oh, gosh, dang it. And she came up flopping on top of the surface trying to throw my bait, like 10 yards in front of me. And she was easily over 8, and it was really heartbreaking for sure, because we could have had a really special day that day, and I thought for sure that I'd blown my shot at it.
Now, were those really the words you said, Riley, when you lost them?
No, sir. If you ask my co-anglers, I probably said some other words, but yes, sir. It was really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So let's talk day 3 and the big fish. Kind of take us through that.
Okay. Yeah. So I started off. I ran my few drains that I had my confidence in. I got to 17, 18, and I was like, okay, we're doing all right. I think at like 12, I'd cold up to around 22 or something like that. And I was like, okay, we got a good little bag. And I pulled up on a point that I'd been catching some dragon on, and I let my co-angler cast, and we made a couple laps around it, trying to see if we could get him some fish. And I think he caught maybe 1 or 2. I don't remember. And I was like, all right, we'll make one more pass. We're gonna head out there. So, anyways, I remembered this while I was letting him throw at that point. I was like, man, I hadn't been to this one drain over there. I didn't catch anything out of it in practice, but I know I was seeing some big ones around the grass. So I was like, all right, man, we're gonna pick up and we're gonna go over here. I haven't been over here all tournament. So we ran over there, and I started going down this grass line, and the water was pretty stirred up. And I was like, oh, man, it's pretty hard to see on scope. It's kind of blowing in here. And then I just saw a dot, sitting right there on that grass line, and I threw to it. And she came up and ate it. I couldn't really see how big it was or anything like that. I was just throwing at a dot. So I got her hooked up, and I was like, man, I don't think it's a bass, because I'd caught a catfish at like 15 pounds first thing that morning, and it was fighting just like that. Wouldn't come up to the surface, wouldn't do anything. It was just dead weight, and it was just peel and drag off my rod. And I was like, man, there's no way this is a bass. I've caught several of them. I just know that this is not a bass.
Right.
So I really didn't have a care in the world for it, honestly, but I was like, man, don't roll it all the way out. But anyway, she came and made a huge boil right under the water. And my coach started freaking out, and I didn't see it. And he's like, man, that's a giant. And I was like, man, I don't think it's a bass. So she took off screaming again, and I was like, yeah, absolutely no way. Well, anyways, about as soon as I was saying that, she started coming up to the top, and she rolled over on the surface. And I was like, oh my God. So, so I thought I'd had her there for a second, and she was kind of working her way to the boat, and I guess she saw the boat,
Yeah.
and she made a really, really, really hard dive and run again. And my co went to move the net, and I went to go his direction, and my rod got tangled up in the net.
No.
Yeah, yeah. And so anyways, we got that undone. And I hit the front of the bow, hanging over the side, trying to make sure she didn't get in the trolling motor, because I knew it would have been over then. She was pulling so hard. Thankfully, she didn't, and I was able to get her to finally start giving up, and we slowly worked her way into the net. And man, I was like, oh my Lord, that one is way over 10.
Now let's talk a little bit more about baits on that. I mean, what was you throwing a spinning rod for your forward face sonar with minnow, or what are you throwing?
Yes,
What'd
sir.
you catch
So my main things were a minnow, an A rig, and an eco rig. It really just depended on what they were doing that day and what they wanted. I threw an Aussie, the Divine swim bait from 6 Cents, and I think it's a shaky worm that they have. The second day was mostly all on an A rig. First day, it was a little mix of all of them. And third day, it was a little bit of a mix of both of them too, primarily the Aussie. But yes, sir, those were my main three players for sure.
What Riley has? I know Kevin can attest to this. I don't know how old are you, Riley?
26.
26. Well, you probably not maybe old enough. I'm 64, so I definitely have a few years on you. But here's where I'm going. 20 pounds used to be, if you came in with 20 pounds, I don't care what tournament it was, what lake it was, that way, man, you were in high cotton, had a shot to win. Has 30 pounds become the new 20? Is that where we're at now? There's 4 bags over 30 weighed in this event. And I'm like, it's just seemed like 30 pounds are starting to become commonplace now. And is this strictly due to forward facing sonar?
So I don't think that, the 30 pounds is a new norm. I definitely think that the weights have gone up, and I think this week was honestly so special for everybody because of the inconsistent weather and the constant water level changes. It made it hard for everybody, including myself, to stay on fish. I mean, you're having a change with the temp and the water rising and falling, and then this whole week leading up to it, it was just setting up so perfect to just be a shootout, man. And I was like, man, it's going to take some weight to win this one for sure, because they were coming in.
How's the lake right now overall? Would you got a big high school tournament, I think, this coming weekend on Sam Rayburn. Would you say go north of 147, or would you say stay south of 147 Bridge? Is there a certain part of the lake that you think will be hot this weekend?
I think if the water clears up north just a hair, it'll be absolutely crazy, because I ran up there a few times and it was a little dirty. Not something that I typically like fishing. So I think if that clears up, all those fish are going to be really fresh, and it could be really crazy.
Yeah.
Riley, on these drains you're fishing, are they leading into spawning pockets? Are they, leading into grass beds? Do they got stumps in them that the fish are hanging out? But kind of describe these drains that you're fishing and what you're looking for in these drains.
So it really just depended on the each drain. I went into several that I know of, and each are just, they're all different in their own ways. The grass is kind of slim right now in Rayburn.
Right.
I know one of them, I was kind of in the back. Like, most of them were always kind of relating towards the back of the pockets. just where it starts getting shallow, or if you had a little drain leading up into a flat, stuff like that. I was checking all of it. I was just running the highways, that they travel through. And I would just routinely go back and forth through those drains and then go check the grass that was in the area. But yeah, that's kind of, you just kind of have to check all of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, Riley, man, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you coming. Kevin, you got anything else?
No, congratulations.
Yeah,
I mean, every year we have somebody that comes on the show 2 or 3 times that just is having that incredible year. And so far, that's you, Riley. I mean, you're the first one we've had on the show twice this year. And, man, you're having an awesome year. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. It means a lot for sure.
All right. Riley, appreciate you, man. Good luck the rest of the year. And hopefully you'll be the first guy we've had on for 3 times in 1 year.
There you go.
So,
I'll sure try.
Go win Bass Champs. If you win Bass Champs, we'll bring you back.
I'll try, man.
All right.
Thanks, Riley.
Thank you, Riley.
Yes, sir.
Riley Harris, man. We appreciate Riley coming on with us today and giving us he gave some great insight, Kevin. Good detail. I mean, he didn't hold nothing back. He pretty much was talking and telling what he did and how he did it. So good information there.
And Steve, I mean, he says he lost a 10 and an 8, caught an 11. He definitely was dialed in. There's no doubt about that. And, could you imagine what he would have had? He said day 2 he lost a 10 and an 8. That's 18 pounds on 2. Let's say he had 2.5, so it's going to be plus 8.
Yeah.
So he could have had 34 on day 2. Oh, man, that's adding 8. I mean, Steve, he could have been 90 pounds in 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
hey, I'm telling you right now, Rayburn, everybody's wondering what's going on. Every time one of the lakes goes bad or whatever, Toledo slows down or something. Look, there ain't nothing wrong with our lakes right now. Our lakes right now are absolutely in mint condition. They're in great shape.
But Steve, your question at the beginning of the show was what's wrong with these tournament trails right now? Toyota MLF had 98 boats. Steve, did you see these results?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have.
It ain't the fishing.
10th place was 59.15. 10th place, 59.15. 20 pounds a day gets you 10th place.
Yes.
In that Toyota tournament. Now,
and
forward-facing sonar, yes. That has an effect on these weights.
Yeah.
But if you can't catch 20 pounds a day, you stay at home.
Yeah. And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
These guys are staying home. I mean, I know MLF's made some phone calls. Where are you? Why aren't you fishing? They're like, I'm not fishing. Yeah.
I cannot go compete with that. I can't.
No. That's why I was asking him, has 30 become the new 20, which that's probably a little high. 25 has definitely become the new 20. If you ain't got 25 pounds, you're probably not going to have a shot at winning. And that's I'm talking all 3 days. You better average around 25 pounds a day to win one of these tournaments right now on Sam Rayburn. And it's just, and Lake of the Pines is, good gosh, it's even worse.
10th place paid $3,400, and that was 60 pounds, 59.15. Yeah. To average 20 pounds a day, you're barely making your money back.
We used to never. When me and you fished a lot, and you fished a lot more. I know you'll come back to it someday, but that just didn't. That was rare to have those kind of days. I mean, rare. So, but anyway, all right, we're going to continue. We're going to take one more quick break. When we return, we got tournament results. We'll break down all 3 of the tournaments. We've talked about this earlier. We got lake level reports, tip of the week. Got Shimano product preview, all this and more, upcoming events, a lot going on too in the next, really the next month, all the way to mid-April. There's a lot going on. Let's take one more break to recognize our sponsors. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We'll be right back.
The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local fishing guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guide for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. 2 locations to serve you in both Nacogdoches and Bravos, Texas. Or give him a call at 936-205-4467. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back. Our final segment here. Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Shimano, and Power Implements Marine, located right there in Iowa, Louisiana. If you mention Tackle Talk Live, you get either $500 off a new purchase of a new or used boat, or you get $50 off your first service ticket. But another one of our great sponsors, our newest sponsor, Toledo Bend Bass Series. And Kevin, they just continue to put out these tournaments, and they're doing really well. I think they've got 2 in the books.
2 in the books. One coming up this weekend, April 15th. It is going to be north of the bridge. You can see it right here flashing up. Guys, yeah. ToledoBendBassSeries.com. Go check it out. Go check out their great website they have. You can get the full list of tournaments right here. Entry fee, 100% trailing, no guides, no forward-facing sonar. So check out the website. Again, they have the tournament coming up this weekend north of the bridge. Tournament number 4 will be April 5th, south of the bridge. Guys, get signed up. It's a great event. They're averaging over 70 boats a tournament. You need to jump on board for this new bass series.
Kevin, question to you. On the no live scope events like the Spino, I know there's a couple of other circuits. There's one in East Texas, Bayou Elite Series. It's on Lake of the Pines. Their individual series is no live scope. Do you see the trend now probably taking place? You can use it in practice, but you got to turn it off on tournament day. Do you see that? Maybe the next trend that we see. That
I do, Steve. I mean, you look at it. I mean, Toledo Bend Bass Series, first 2 tournaments he's ever had. They have over 70 boats, almost 80 in both tournaments.
Yeah.
I see a trend of going in it because the turnout has been better. The guys that are not, let's just be honest, the old timers, which is what we are now, Steve, and even I am now, that hasn't had the opportunity to learn the technology, but you have 30 years of history of fishing that you don't want to take the time to learn the technology, or you don't have the opportunity to spend time on the water. I don't anymore. So, but you know what to go do to go catch them this time of year. So you feel comfortable competing as long as you're not competing against somebody with a forward-facing sonar. So yes, I think this is a trend you're going to start seeing more of. Outlaw Outdoors is putting a tournament on, I think in May or whenever it is, that they are they're kind of testing the waters to see if this is something I think that they might possibly want to move to. They're putting a no forward-facing sonar tournament out there to see for these smaller circuits. I think it's a way for them to get a better turnout and take some of these teams from the bigger circuits.
Right. I look for Bass Champs and Texas Team Trail to make big changes for 2026. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. But I think ABA is going to make some changes in 2026 as well. And
there's a market.
Anyway, we'll see.
There's a market.
Yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. All right. Let's see. Fishing for Kids, the Despino Tire event on Toledo Bend, Jordan Hollingsworth and Derek Cooper. They came in first place with 27.07. And I mean, when I tell you these weights coming up, Kevin, I mean, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is with no forward facing sonar. And I'm like, it's impressive. Toledo Bend showed out. Second place, Will Carson's Ross Bryant, 27.03. Lee Brown, Ike Stevens, third with 26.40. Eric Fusile and Ben Suit, they were fourth with 25.76. Stephen Owicki and Jason Owicki, they were fifth with 24.95. Chris Hazel and Josh Peak were sixth with 23.79. Neil Bridges and Todd Strahan were seventh with 23.41. Casey Martin, Noah Sharpkoff, they were eighth with 23.04. Chris Wages, John Barnwell were ninth with 22.90. And rounding, actually, there was two tied for 22.90. Mike Briggs and Matthew Arman. And also finishing out the top 10, Christopher Bro, Jason Duhan came in with 22.16. If you didn't have over 20 pounds, you didn't make the top 17 in this event.
Yeah. Yeah. 20 pounds.
Top 17.
And Steve, so they had 271 boats, I believe. So they paid, let's see, they paid 69 places. 69 place was 1510. So if that's 1510 on a tournament like that, 271 boats, I believe is what they had. Paid 69 places, Steve. It's a heck of a tournament for the Spino Children Miracle Network tournament for sure.
It really, and 18 to 20 pounds, Kevin, in this event, that was average. I mean, that was average weight. I mean, I was like, that is absolutely crazy. Okay. Now, the next day, they had and I guess this was One Fish.
Battle of the Brands, One Fish hourly weigh-in tournament, yes.
Yeah, One Fish hourly. Okay, well, now, then I don't have the results of this.
The overall results for that?
No, I don't. It says 1 to 2 o'clock hour. Now, dadgummit, I don't have that. Do you have something else? Maybe I can find something on this.
I'll look it up here and see what I can.
Okay. And just real quick, those of you we do have some local guys. While Kevin's looking that up, I'll go over this real quick. It's the Bassmaster event that was taking place. It was the Open Series taking place on Kentucky Lake. Yui Aoki, Yui Aoki from Japan won this tournament at 66-14. Ethan Fields had 63.5. Matt Robertson was third with 56.3. And just trying to look down the list here of maybe guys that were from Daryl Gleason. Daryl had a really good tournament here. Congratulations to Daryl. He had 36-14 to come in 13th overall. Picked up $6,000 paycheck. Brendan Flick, one of my roommates that used to travel with us on the road. Brendan was 15th for 36.7. Another really good angler. I'm telling you, that's one guy, Kevin, that's really – I think the future is bright for Brendan Flick. He's got an opportunity to really do something special down the road. Peg South, who I had him on the hooking up, tracking down last week. Peg South was 23rd, a young kid, 18 years old, finished 23rd with 32.10. Cameron Madison from Bossier, old airline kid. Cameron was 25th with 32.1. I think he's an old V&M guy for you, Kevin.
Yep.
And so did you come across anything?
Yeah, so the overall winner is Sam Morrison. He had a 9.59. That was big fish of the day. Steve, there were 5 9-pounders weighed in. George Jean Jr. weighed a 9.57. David Ferry weighed a 9.46. Let's see here. Sam Morrison had the 9.59. Casey Tate had a 9.26. So overall winner by 9.59. George Jean Jr. had a 9.57. Was Sam Morrison. So that was the overall results. I don't know turnout wise. It looks like they had a pretty decent turnout.
How many stayed over to fish?
With some good weights, man. They have some really good fish weighed in Sunday as well. So hats off to those guys.
Yeah. All right. All right, upcoming events. We've got several things going on. Fishers of Men, Texas Northeast Division. They're at Lake of the Pines this coming weekend. Toledo Bend Bass Series, as Kevin's already talked about. They're on the north end of Toledo Bend. They're going out of Pendleton Bridge Park, which is a new ramp. By the way, hats off to, was that the Sabine River Authority? Is that the
Yes.
Texas
Yeah.
Sabine River Authority? Good job. Well, a great ramp, a great location, much needed in that area too. So glad to see them put that ramp in that location right there. March 22nd, the Dillon Poche, a huge event, just like the Despino Tire. Look for a great turnout in that event. It'll also be out of Cypress Bend Park on Toledo Bend next weekend. ABA Texas Pro League on Sam Rayburn also take place the same time, March 22nd. March 21st and 23rd is the Bassmaster Classic on Ray Roberts, Texas. Kevin, are you going to be attending that this year?
No, I'm not attending this year. I'm gonna be. I got some other events I'm working in my area, so I'm not gonna make it to the classic.
March 29th, Texas Team Trail will show up at Toledo Bend. That should be a really good event. Kevin, March 30th, about got the Bayou Outdoors Elite King of the Pines. That's the individual. That's the no forward facing sonar event that'll be taking place. Let's see here. April 5th, BFL. We'll return to Sam Rayburn. And what we got after that, Kev?
Toledo Bend Bass Series. Oh, sorry, I moved my screen here. Toledo Bend Bass Series South, April 5th. That weekend it'll be South Pendleton Bridge. April 6th is the BFL makeup at Sam Rayburn. So a lot of things coming up, Steve. Both lakes going to be filled up next couple months. Got some great weather coming up. So fishing's good. Fishing is only going to get better if it can. If there's a such thing as getting better. Both lakes are fishing really well right now. So if you get a chance to spend some time on the water, I think you'll definitely be able to have some fun, enjoy some time.
Yeah, some people have actually sent me a text. A lot of people, of course, they can go to Sealy Outdoors. The next Big Bass Splash for Sealy, which is their first event in this region, is going to be Sam Rayburn, April 25th, 26th, and 27th. And maybe at some point we might get somebody on from Sealy to talk about that and kind of give everybody a heads up. Lake levels, real quick, Toledo Bend. It is on the fall just a little bit. It's 8.6 inches. Below pool, it's at 171.28. Sam Rayburn's 166.13. It's 1.73 feet above pool. Lake of the Pines is at 229.83. It's 2.04 feet down. And Caddo Lake is at 170.09, which is 1.59 feet above pool. So anyway, Kevin, what you got for Shimano product this week?
Shimano product, Steve. I finally got my sample in of the Poison Ultima. This is the high-end rod Shimano makes. Guys, if you are wanting just a high-end rod for any technique specific, the Poison Ultima is it. The ultimate of Shimano's most advanced rod technology. Anything that you can imagine from the Spiral X technology, anything you can imagine, the best of the best is in this rod. So, guys, if you're looking for something that it's a little expensive, it's on that high end, but if you're wanting a rod that's on that market that has the best of the best, you need to check out the Poison Ultima. Very limited on some of these. You can. A lot of the local, not a lot, but a couple of the local dealers are carrying them. You can get them online, but check out the Poison Ultima for anything you're looking for, that high-end rod. If you're looking for just a technique-specific rod that you want that high-end, little classier rod for, you need to check out the Poison Ultima.
And one thing to keep in mind, guys, those of you that are, if you're a big worm guy or you're a big jig guy, sensitivity, man, between the fluorocarbon line today and a really good rod, there's bites that you will feel with a really high quality rod. Don't think it doesn't make a difference, because it does make a difference.
Oh, it definitely does.
So, and I've got 5 baits, Kevin, here that I just want to go real quick. That I throw in March. It's a great bait to throw. You're going to get bit on them. Number one is, of course, is the jackhammer. I mean, this bait right here, it's known all over the country. It's a fish catching machine. It will catch fish. I don't care where you go. That bait right there, you got to have one tied on. The next thing, Cinco. Cinco right now is, and I throw too. I throw the V&M one bait as well, because it's not as heavy and I actually found this to be true at a body of water in Eufaula, Oklahoma, Lake Eufaula. I tested the Cinco versus the V&M, and I'm telling you right now, the sink rate was different, and I ended up catching most of my fish on the V&M, and I think it was because of the sink rate. It just fell a little different than the Cinco did, and the Cinco, of course, loaded with salt. This is a great color. This is a tilapia. Brim are going to be the enemy of bass right now. Them coming in wanting to blow their eggs. Brim wanting to come in and feed on those eggs. Brim color, anything brim color is going to be really good. You can rig a Texas rig, wacky rig, weightless, however way you want to fish a Cinco. There's really no wrong way to fish it, but let the fish tell you how they want it. Flat-sided crankbait. I throw the Berkeley Fritz side probably most of the time. Of course, the orange is still good right now, but the other color I like the best right now, even this time of year, is the chartreuse blackback. Just a great color, great, especially when stain. Water's got a little color to it, a little stain to it. Just a great color to throw is the chartreuse. Next, creature bait. Kevin will tell you I'm a diehard when it comes to this particular bait. When it comes to a creature bait, V&M, that swamp hog, that is a hard bait to beat. I'm sorry, I throw this everywhere. Rayburn, Toledo Bend, Texas rig, jig trailer, it don't matter. That sucker just catches fish. It's just one of the Lake Fork. I actually finished second at Lake Fork in the tournament. Went through 2 bags of these suckers in one event and over there at Lake Fork. But I'm just telling you guys, Baby Swamp Hog by V&M. They don't sponsor us. Kevin used to be president for them, but they catch fish. That's all I'm gonna say. Cliff Pace, when he designed that bait, he knew what he was doing because he created a winner right there. Next, last but not least, swim jig. And yes, I'm a diehard Sandtone swim jig guy. That's the original. Shout out to Chris McCall. Great job when he developed this bait. He developed it actually on Sam Rayburn, created this bait. The design, it's Chris McCall designed. That swim jig right now, this time of year, especially you get around grass, a lot of the hay grass is starting to reappear again. If you can get around that hay grass or hydrilla with that swim jig, man, hold on to your rod because you're probably going to get jerked on. So, but anyway, that's it. That's all I got, Kev. You got anything else?
I think that does it for the week.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning us in. Again, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, however way you listen to a podcast. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page, and Kevin will make sure he gets a detailed packet out to you. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.